This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now.
In this video, we're going to be taking you around the city of Halifax to eat some absolutely mouth-watering, delicious food. And here's the best part, we have not eaten a thing yet today.
So for the record, we are actually from Halifax. We spent a lot of time and probably money eating our way through Halifax in the past years. So today we're going to be going to some classics and some surprises as well. So we are starting things off in downtown Halifax, and we are going for probably the most classic food you can get here. Meanwhile, we're making our way up the hills. That's one thing you gotta know about Halifax. It's built on a hill. You're gonna be out of breath a lot.
I know, the camera doesn't really make it look like you're on a hill, but burning all these calories is gonna make it worth it.
I was gonna say, you gotta work for your food here.
All right, we're getting right into it today. The first stop is a place called Meza, and you can see the glorious Donair meat. Yes, that's right, inside this wrap is a Donair. So, we're gonna try this out. Some of you may not know what it is. We can't wait to tell you all about this little local gem.
So this is a Halifax Donair, and for those of you that are not from here, that have never actually had one before, you might be thinking, well, isn't that just a doner, like a doner kebab? It's actually not. It's kind of derived from there. The history goes that somebody from Greece actually came here in the 1970s and tried to open a Greek gyro shop. So gyros are very, very similar to this in the concept that, you know, the meat on the spit, that was lamb, and of course they put tzatziki sauce on it. So he found that Haligonians in general weren't really into lamb, they didn't really like the tzatziki sauce, so he changed it up to fit the palates of the 1970s Haligonians. He switched it over to beef, he put some tomatoes and onions on there, and then made a very, very specific sauce for this. So Halifax Donair sauce, something I'm not a huge fan of, but we'll try it out on here. It's basically like a really sweet garlicky sauce. I think it's made of vinegar, evaporated milk, there's sugar in there, and there's also garlic. I know it sounds really weird. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Here's a fun little fact about this glorious thing. It's actually Halifax's official food. How cool is that? You might think because we're from Halifax that we eat these all the time. We don't. I eat maybe one of these every 3 years. A lot of people consider it like late night food, but today, it's not the night. It's the middle of the day. Here we go. I absolutely love Donairs when I don't have them for a very long time. They're so bad that they're just a beautiful, great thing. Okay, let's talk about this. The wrap itself, it's just, I'd say, middle of the road. Nothing special about the wrap, at least on this one. But I actually like the Donair meat a lot. It's got a little bit of a spice to it. It's tender, so it makes me think it's quite fresh. That sauce, I haven't had that sauce in a while. That sweet and condensed kind of garlic sauce Anna was talking about. That's not for everyone, but when you put on the onions and the tomatoes, the whole thing just works. It's one of the things we get really excited about when we come back to Halifax. We get an excuse to have one of these again, mainly because we're filming this video.
To be honest, this is one of those foods that if I didn't have a YouTube channel and was trying food on here, I'd probably never ever order one of these. It's just not something that I particularly appeals to me, especially when it comes to like lunch food. I would never gravitate towards this, but that's something fun about being put in situations where we try different foods. It makes you get out of the standard box once in a while and try some different things.
This is exciting. It's the very first time she's ever trying a Donair because she didn't eat meat a very long time ago.
So overall, I would say this is really good. The meat itself, like Trevor was saying, really, really tender. There is a little bit of spice to it, but afterwards, I'm getting it right now. I don't get it when I initially take a bite, so it comes afterwards, but certainly nothing overpowering or overly spicy. If you don't like spicy food, you probably still like this. I'm still not a huge fan of Donair sauce. I just wish it had a little bit more of like a punch to it. I just find it a little bit too sweet. So if it were me, if I were designing this myself, I would probably stick to something like tzatziki that has a little bit of tang, a little something to it. But I do love the addition of the onions and the tomatoes. I think it adds a little bit extra and probably wouldn't be nearly as good without it. And yeah, the wrap's nice and fresh. It's nothing spectacular, but it's great.
All right, well, we kicked things off with a bang there, starting with the classic, iconic Donair. Right now, we're on our way to the south end of Halifax, where there's actually less restaurants.
There isn't, but everything that's there has kind of been, I feel like, been around for a long time. The place that we are going to, I would call it an institution here in Halifax.
Oh, it's an institution. If you're from Halifax, you're gonna know this place. Before we keep eating delicious food, we just wanted to say a huge thanks to Squarespace, our longtime partner who's back to support us once again.
Squarespace is of course a huge part of our daily lives. We built our own website using Squarespace, but we also have a website building business that exclusively uses Squarespace.
Squarespace is the all-in-one platform that helps you stand out and succeed online.
Get started by choosing one of their professional website templates with designs for every style that can easily be customized. They have dozens of templates to choose from as well as pre-built layouts.
And did you know that Squarespace has an app for iOS and Android? You can edit your website, manage your online store, and monitor analytics from anywhere. On top of that, the iOS app even provides marketing designs created from your products and brand colors for social media and email marketing. Are you ready to build your own website? Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/delightfultravelers for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website.
And of course, a huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting creators like us. Welcome to Darrell's. This place has been around for decades and it's oh so cute on the inside. Also a really great place to go with a group of people because they have a really vast menu. Like they literally have everything on the menu. They have amazing wraps, which is something we often get when we go there, but they have like salads and all sorts of different things. But the main thing, I would say the most popular thing, or what they're known for, is this burger that we got today. They actually have all sorts of different burgers, but this is a peanut butter burger. Yeah, that's what I said. A peanut butter burger. So these guys have been making burgers since way before it was trendy. You know, now you can find a burger place everywhere with all sorts of interesting toppings, but as far as I know, these guys have also been making the peanut butter burger at least as far back as I can remember. A very long time. I think I probably tried this about 20 years ago. One thing I do like about them, if you are a vegetarian, they actually have the option on all their burgers to put a vegetarian burger on there instead. But today we went for the full-on meat version. This burger is crazy. It's got literally, I think, everything on it. I see relish, I think I see some mayo, some mustard. On top there is cheese, lettuce, there's some bacon on there, and of course, peanut butter. And I know that sounds really weird. Trevor's never tried this before. As I said before, I used to try it with the vegetarian burger. It's so good. It sounds so weird, but it just works. That being said, and like I mentioned before, it has been maybe 20 years since I actually tried this before, so maybe I won't like it as much as I used to. But let's go in there, if I can actually get a bite of this. I think this is one of those things that you have to take a whole bunch of bites in order to get the whole thing. I just got a little bit of it on the first bite, but there's a lot going on. Like a really strong mustard flavor, and then the peanut butter. And I know, again, it sounds really weird, but it just creates kind of like a pasty, peanutty flavor to it. I really like it. I think some people would enjoy it. I think if you like peanut butter, you're probably gonna like it. Obviously, if you don't like peanut butter, not gonna be your thing.
Well, I tell you, Anna sold me on this, and I literally cannot believe this is the first time I'm ever trying this burger. I've heard about it for decades now. For some reason, I just never got around to trying it. I know, if you're from Halifax, just give me all the heat, because I should have tried this by now. But at least I get to try this on camera for the very first time. Whoa. Well, it's safe to say that's absolutely delicious, but the peanut butter throws me completely for a loop. Like, it's like I'm eating a burger with like a peanut butter sandwich in the middle of the burger. Maybe you guys will like that. When you say that out loud, that sounds pretty good. It's very gluttonous. I can tell you that. It's loaded up with all the bacon. It's like the first kind of bite, you get all that peanut butter sandwich bite, and then after that, it kind of slowly turns into a regular savory burger full of all the good stuff. I think there is some ketchup and mustard on there. Bacon's great. The bread is really good. Very fresh indeed. And the meat, can't beat that as well. But I don't know, this is gonna take me definitely a few more bites to see if I'm kind of team peanut butter on a hamburger. Are you guys team peanut butter on a hamburger? Have you ever tried peanut butter on a hamburger? I'd be curious to what you guys think. Moving right along, we've come over to a pizza place called Tomavinos, and this place is a gem. But the best part about this is you can come next door to Garrison Brewing and get to beer. So here I am sitting outside of Garrison with this glorious looking, well, you guys might think it looks like a cheese pizza or something like that, but this is garlic fingers. Yes, this is an Atlantic Canada thing. It's all the rage when you're here. What is this? It does look like a cheese pizza, but there's things about this that make it unique to here. One, there's garlic butter on it. You can see the cheese looks really good, and it's on an actual pizza crust, so it's a little bit different than you're used to. It also comes with this sauce. This is the same sauce that was on the Donair before that we ate earlier, so you can dip it in here. So haven't had this in a long time. And again, if you're from Halifax, you know what this is. All right, I got a glorious piece of this now, a finger, as we would say, of the garlic fingers. Before I dip it, I'm just gonna try it on its own because it's been a while. Oh, it's just loaded with garlic. It's so freaking good. Oh, I haven't had this in so long, and it is just one of my favorite, again, I'll call it junk food, late night food to eat, but it's the middle of the day, as I said before. It's loaded up with cheese, and it's loaded with garlic. If you're not a fan with garlic, it's not gonna be for you. But you're probably gonna see the bottom of this now. The pizza dough itself is really good. Tomavinos has been around for like, I think a decade or so, or maybe even more now, and that's also a staple in Halifax, in case you didn't know. But let's try it with this this sweetened condensed kind of Donair sauce. I'll get it all loaded up here. Oh, this is good. Look at this, it's just dripping. It just absolutely makes it. It's really all about that sweet and savoriness, right? So you got this, was full of cheese and full of garlic and bread. It's just savory as it possibly gets. And then this is incredibly sweet. This is not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, this sauce, but for me, oh man, I can't get this anywhere else in the world. Anywhere we go, I've never come across this. I absolutely love it.
I know sometimes when we tell some of our international friends about garlic fingers, they always say, no, I've had something very, very similar, you know, like cheesy garlic bread and blah, 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 at different places around the world. Trust me, it's not exactly the same thing. This is a very, very Atlantic Canadian thing. I mentioned before that I'm not the biggest fan of the garlic sauce. So I always ask for marinara whenever we get garlic fingers. I find some places make better Donair sauce than other places. I'm sure it's all based on personal preference, but in general, it's just not my go-to. On a Donair, it's a little bit different because it kind of blends in with all the different tastes, but here I find it's way, in my personal opinion, better with marinara sauce. One thing I will say is that all garlic fingers are not made equally, and these ones are really, really good. I love that it's not too greasy. This is one of those foods that you typically get like late night or like a really like greasy spoon pizza place, like a corner type spot. You guys know what I mean, like not usually a super high-end place. I find Tomavinos makes really high quality pizza, and same with their garlic fingers. It just has a nice flavor to it, nice garlickiness to it, but you don't feel gross after you eat it, which I really appreciate. And also, really good marinara sauce, I have to add that.
Moving right along, we've come over to the popular Hydrostone area here in Halifax. This place is oh so charming, and we're at Salvatore's to get some delicious food. We're not gonna eat pizza. You might have saw a shot of pizza there, but we're here to try this guy. I got my cheat sheet. This is Sal's Meatball Hero Sub. Look at that. Look at the inside of that thing. Let's see what's on this. Sliced meatballs, mozzarella, their tomato sauce, Parmesan, onions, olives, and mayo, you guys. And we're just gonna go right for it today. Full disclosure, we've tried this once, I think about 4 years ago in another video, and we just needed an excuse to come back because I remember this being a glorious, glorious thing. Let's see if it's still just as good as I remember. Oh yeah. If any of you are watching from Halifax, you know that Salvatore's is the best. The tomato sauce is so good. It's all about these sliced meatballs. I always think meatballs need to be round. Who knew you could just slice them up and they'd be just as good? There's olives on here. Someone else on the other side of the camera is not going to be a fan of that. And the bread, though, is really good. The whole thing is just kind of a perfect sandwich. This is the small version. I think there's like a very large version as well, so I cannot eat all that, especially today. Well, it's a new day, but we've been eating way too much food.
So as Trevor just said, I'm not so excited about the olives, and it's funny, I don't remember them being on it the last time we ordered it. Maybe we asked for it without, but I just have no memory of that whatsoever. I was surprised. We actually went up and ordered it, and then I looked afterwards at the menu and realized it had olives on it. So I would have asked for it without. I'm trying to like olives, like I'm trying to eat them here and there, but it's something I've never really enjoyed. I know it's one of those foods that's very controversial. Some people love them, some people hate them.
Who's Team Olive behind the lens here, and who hates olives? Let us know.
I'm trying. Hopefully someday, but for now, I'm gonna try to take bites with no olives.
Now, I thought it was just as good as before, but let's see what she thinks.
So in my memory, this was honestly different, but it's been about 4 years. But by different, I don't mean it's bad by any means. This is delicious. Didn't get any olives in that bite. The meatballs are juicy and tender and absolutely delicious. I think in my head, I remember this being like very tomato saucy. Again, I could totally be misremembering it, and maybe it's exactly the same as it was. I just remember it being super, super saucy. Now I'd say there's just a slight bit of sauce there and a little bit of cheese, but it holds together nicely and it's not too messy, so I appreciate that.
Maybe it depends on who makes it.
Could be.
Maybe they didn't put much sauce on today.
Well, we have one more place on the list to try today, and I feel like you can't do a proper Nova Scotia / Halifax food video without doing fish and chips. So this is Willman's. They've actually been around since 1946. So I certainly hope that if someone around here knows how to do a proper fish and chips, it would be these guys. They're definitely, when you look up like the best places to have fish and chips in Halifax, always on the list. They're also one of the most convenient for us too, because it means we don't have to leave the peninsula. So there's lots around HRM in different areas, but you know, we're in the North End today, so we decided to stick to the North End. This looks amazing.
Yeah, look how golden and crispy that is. There's some fries or chips underneath the fish.
Yes, I think that would be debatable of people from the UK. Is that actually a chip or is that a French fry?
I'm gonna zoom in here. I think that's, they're gonna call that a French fry.
I think so. I think it might not be fat enough to be a chip, but maybe someone from the UK can let us know.
Well, I got a big old bite here, and you guys, this smells incredible. It actually came out really fast as well, and I'm curious how good it's gonna be after everyone telling us like this is the best in Halifax. And in case you're watching and you're not from Canada, not from Nova Scotia, just from another country, we are on the ocean, newsflash, and we have some tremendous fish and chips, but we have lots of good places, so we'll see how this place holds up. I'm gonna try first without the tartar sauce, and we'll see. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. This is incredibly fresh fish. Some of the best fish I've ever had. I know I might be biased, I'm from Nova Scotia, but we've tried some good fish and chips as of late, some really good fish and chips in the UK. Thing is, well, I'm a little embarrassed. We didn't ask what kind of fish this is. Now I could guess it's probably a haddock. I don't know if you guys can see the inside there. I don't think it's cod, because cod is usually a bit fishier. I'm gonna go with haddock, but I didn't ask. My bad. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's golden, it's crispy, no fishy taste. There's actually two big pieces. We asked for one piece, so yeah, this place gives hefty portions. Well, we'll try their homemade tartar sauce here. Look at this, you guys. I have this piece smothered in it. Let's go. Oh, whoa, that makes it even better. So it's citrusy, it's kind of like a little bit limey. There's a little bit of a punch to it, but it is mayo based, but some of the better tartar sauce I've ever had as well. Huh, how am I just doing this now? Like, after what? Decades of being in the city, and now I'm trying this place for the first time as well, along with Darrell's. Well, the burger at Darrell's, I should say. Doesn't even make sense, but I am gonna say if you're coming to the city, this is a must. I know we might have saved the best maybe for last, but come here if you're visiting Halifax.
So when we were in the UK not that long ago, we actually did a British food video in London, and honestly, we got torn apart. We only said nice things in general, but people from London and the rest of the UK were not impressed with us.
Well, they have a lot to say. They have a lot to say about everything, clearly.
It was actually a hilarious video. If you're ever just like bored and want a really good laugh, just go read the comments, because everyone tears us apart, but they all kind of say something different and they all contradict each other. So that's what makes it even funnier. But one of the things I said in the video was that I'm not a big fish fan, so I was nervous about trying the fish and chips. I ended up not liking it because it was a little bit too fishy, and a lot of people didn't like that I said that. So let's see how this one goes. Are you guys gonna get mad at me for saying that I don't like fishy fish?
Well,
sorry.
I know a lot of people said fishy fish is like saying meaty meat, but the thing is, not fresh fish tastes fishy.
Yeah, I feel like the people that didn't realize that different fish types are fishy in different ways. Like some of them are not fishy at all. The fresher usually, the less fishy they are. I just thought it was funny that some people didn't know that. Anyway, enough talking. Let's actually try this. I'm gonna try this tartar sauce for sure. They had an option of like just regular craft tartar or house-made, so obviously we went for the house-made.
So curious what you're gonna think here.
Okay, I'm gonna declare this definitely the best fish and chips I have ever had. Didn't even get a hint of fishiness in that. Maybe some people wouldn't like that, but I'm definitely into that. It's just light, it's flaky. I love the outside batter. It's also really just light, not too heavy, not too greasy, but just a little bit like, you know, kind of unhealthy. The tartar sauce, absolutely amazing. It's another thing that I've also learned. People from the UK, not into the tartar sauce. They want vinegar on it, I think, but we're going tartar all the way. This is so good.
Well, that was ridiculously good, and I'm somewhat surprised, even though the hype Well, it was hyped and the hype's real.
Yeah, definitely the best fish and chips I've ever had. Not that I've had that many, but that was excellent.
I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We tried to show kind of like top 5 in Halifax, top 5 food places by locals. I guess we're locals at the end of the day. Still, we know a few things about the city.
Yeah, not that that's all encompassing. There are obviously loads and loads of amazing places to try when you're in Halifax, but I would put those all on your list.
I would too. If you guys have a favorite, just let us know down in the comments so we can see them for the next time we come back to Halifax, or others that are watching this video can pop down in the comments, and they're also going to find out more places in Halifax to eat. But yeah, that's it for now in this video. Big things coming up in next week's video. You don't want to miss it.
And the week after that as well. The next 2 videos are going to be some big stuff happening, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I can't wait to share the news with you guys. We've got some crazy stuff going on in our lives. So you're about to find out, but for now, we might need a nap or something.
I think we will. All right, guys, that's it.
From Halifax, wishing you delightful travels.
See you soon.